Good afternoon, everyone. And while waiting for everyone to join, I wanted to give a quick introduction about what's going to happen today. So welcome to the Thursdays with RigER. So this is a day when we host a bunch of different events online, and including such events as webinars, online presentations, and some special events. And today is one of those days where we host and are pleased to host a special event such as user conference. My name is Nikolai Korniuk, and I'm going to be hosting today's user conference. So to those of you who don't know what I look like, I'm here on this picture. And also, I wanted to present a quick agenda and another speaker who is the CEO and president of Belkasoft and RigER, Michael Matsev. So as I mentioned, today we're going to be talking about RigER, not just as a product, but more as a community organizing set of services. And we want to focus specifically on some of the things that are touching our user community, our growing user community, which we're very happy to see. So we'll talk a little bit about what market we're in. So this is more geared towards the new people that have not been using RigER, but are actively considering what RigER is and where we operate. We'll talk about the product and a few highlights as far as what we have brought in this year so far and what's coming down the pike. We'll share gladly with you some of the customer insights and use cases. This is an interesting one, I believe, to those of you who are new again and are thinking of embarking on implementing a system like RigER. We'll also outline our vision for the next year because we're a very dynamic and fast-growing organization and a product. And we'll talk about the future development with the closing part, such as a Q&A, where we'll be happy to answer any questions of yours. So without further ado, let's start. So digital transformation, again, in broad strokes, I wanted to make sure that we will kind of lay out the foundation of where we operate, what market it is that we're in, and what we're offering to the growing list of the user community of ours. What we have talked a little bit earlier this year already, and I wanted to really reemphasize, is that the business environment has been changing for the oilfield service and rental companies, as well as for everybody else for that matter. And some of the aspects of the change outlined on this website, on this slide, rather, and all and every one of these specific changes and new demands in the market require everybody to be aligned and be in tune with the latest technology and starting to look at how you can see yourselves and your company in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years, and in 10 years. So who do you want to be when you grow up, so to speak? So that implies to everybody on the marketplace. And these are changing demands are very important to keep in mind. And that's what we've seen happening in the industry and in our conversations with the clients. So a lot of things change from the regulatory to the software to the demands on the operational level to what we want the system to be if we want to be the best in the industry or in our segment. So security is highly important right now, as well as the cloud and mobile technology and new frameworks that are now being introduced almost on a quarterly basis. So how to use and available technology and different aspects of the business life that we can kind of move forward. So as part of reassessing, the journey of every company that is operating in the now digital space, we see that there's been identified several levels of digital transformation roadmap. And everybody is different. So, and it's important to understand not only where you are, but where you're headed to, and where is that, comfort level at which you think you're going to be optimally performing. So, the 0-1 level is, as we identified, as the companies that are using primarily the paper sources and the whiteboard, so analog ways of storing information. Again, we're pretty much past that stage. However, there are companies as an industry. However, there are companies that are still using these mediums, so to speak, and to store information and manage their businesses. It is possible, it is easy, but it's not necessarily sustainable, so to speak. So that's when we see a lot of companies have moved in the past decade or so into the simpler software systems that are allowing to organize their operations. However, with the introduction of such services as Amazon or Azure from Microsoft, the cloud space being available and accessible. So everybody started to move some files. Well, not everybody, to be precise, but some companies started to move their operations into the cloud space. And then, the mobile revolution has started to happen, and the exuberance of the devices as well as the different platforms that allows to do a lot of work on the go has also introduced an opportunity. So companies have moved from quickly from the zero level to the level 1 and 2, and more now we're seeing they're moving to the level 3, where everybody has to be mobilized to be able to perform a lot of activities on the mobile device. However, we also know that there are companies that are looking beyond and looking at other technologies, moving to the business intelligence stage, where they want to see as much operational information and sort of on the palm of the devices or in front of them all the time on a dashboard, and not necessarily the zeros and ones, but more processed information, analyzed information, so that they could make an information-based decision right there by looking at the intelligence. So that's a level number 4 as we identify it. And again, the companies that are more in the technology and the hardware as well side of the things in the oil and gas are also, some of them are looking even outside or above that level and going to level 5, where the advanced digitalization is taking place, such as, and the latest technology available, such as the blockchain or the digital twins technology, which we know now in the multi-billion dollars companies are pretty much a mainstream of everybody wants to deploy them. But even small and medium-sized companies are now allowed to see what it may look like at their scale, to use the technologies to be more efficient and more technologically advanced, to be more operationally excellent, so to speak. So from 0-1 to 0-5, it's a journey. You identify your place, and you can start moving towards the ultimate goal. So when we, as a community-based organization, we want to help you to get moving on that path. So let me then move to the next topic and introduce Michael, so who's going to talk a little bit about the product and what has happened with RigER along those lines in this past year.
Thank you, Nikolai, and hello, everyone. Welcome to our user conference. It's a very big event for us, and we'd like to talk about what we did this year and where we're going and what to expect for 2021. So this year definitely was very challenging for everyone, and instead of visiting clients, we have a number of virtual meetings. The last thing which I tried was a virtual coffee. It actually works. So yeah, no trade shows or virtual trade shows this year. But again, this year and this kind of lockdown period was very productive for us, and we create several new additions to a RigER family. Definitely, we developing the cloud oil field and mobile oil field together as a one system. And we right now have several specific sub-industry applications which could be recognized as a surface equipment, telecom, pressure control, flowback, waste management, rental equipment, distribution, and downhole tools. We developed RigER from version 7.0 Oklahoma City to 7.5 Phoenix. It was our anti-crisis, helpful, very fast build version, which I hope was kind of a symbol of the recovery and symbol of that everything will be okay somehow, to version 7.7, where we firstly represent our product as Oilfield Services ERP. We added purchase digital approval, service calls, maintenance module, and Oilfield CRM. And right now, we consider RigER as a oilfield service ERP with several subsystems, which include sales, purchases, finance, manufacturing, equipment rentals, and oilfield services. So everything's combining together, and we presenting RigER as a one solution for oilfield service and equipment rental companies. If we talk about reach of the different modules and applications which include to the oilfield service ERP suite. Right now, it includes different kind of modules from oilfield rentals to analytics, from invoicing to maintenance, general rentals, mobile safety repairs, rework, etc. So lots of different cloud modules. As well, we built several new mobile applications which definitely meet all those new features and includes all those new features which we added to the cloud. So we have a service calls, which is a new application which supports service call module in RigER, which gives you an opportunity to communicate with the clients when you provide the service and register all the service requests and service calls from your client, so the managers can understand what's going on and see the history of all the service requests from the client. Moreover, some of the clients use this as a troubleshooting, and the dispatcher can provide the adequate information for the service call request from the client. Oilfield purchases give an opportunity to generate a purchase order requests. Oilfield operations, probably most advanced right now application where we call it field application, where the field technician can do almost everything. Oilfield sales, a new extension of the CRM system, and mobile oil field all-in-one application. And the new addition to our access to cloud database, it's a mobile thin client, which is something between thin client on the computer and mobile application. So mobile thin client give you an opportunity to work online from your mobile phone, which is very big addition, and we hope it will be a big step for us and for the entire RigER community. So let's talk about use cases, and we have several participants today who will present RigER as the an experience of using RigER for a couple of months, couple of years. So, first of all, I'd like to thank all our clients, and we're really pleased that our clients move forward and ask us to build something interesting for them, which is always challenging, but always give us more ideas how to help them to run operations smoothly. And let's talk about the first presenter today will be our client from the last year, Sean Kirkpatrick from VaporPoint.
Sean, welcome to our annual user conference webinar. It's a pleasure to host you today, and I would like to ask you a few questions. So first one, can you tell us a little bit about VaporPoint and your role in the organization?
Sure. Yeah, thank you for having me on. VaporPoint, we are a vapor control company. We're basically a service and rental company, both in the upstream, midstream, and downstream, primarily oil and gas services side. So a lot of rolling stock equipment out in the field, as well as services from personnel across various locations across the U.S., from California to Texas and to Louisiana. In my role, I am the Chief Operating Officer, so I'm basically responsible for all of our day-to-day execution and operations and back office tracking and monitoring systems that we have.
Perfect. Thank you. So the next question, what were the main challenges or issues that you've experienced before you started looking for a software like RigER?
Yeah, so it was a long journey for Vapor Point, trying to find what we needed, and it was started from we needed just some sort of electronic tracking system for paperwork, and then it grew into, okay, we've got a lot more stock as far as depreciated assets out in the field, and how are we looking at that, and then into maintenance as we grew as a company. We're an 8-year-old company, so obviously we've kind of come through this transition, and the more we looked at different systems, some were way more complicated, some really were more integrated than we needed as far as wanting to drag in accounting and drag in CRM systems, but we really didn't need that at the time. And basically as we grew through this, we actually started, started looking at other systems and seeing where we're going. And we just struggled with trying to find something that was flexible for us, but then also able to kind of focus in on the key pieces of information that we're able to track and get, some good business metrics back out of.
Mm-hmm. Perfect. Thank you. So, again, you've had a journey of getting to the point when you were, making a decision, and it is indeed, it can be a busy market to go and actually look for different systems. But since it's a journey, so you've had some experience with other software that you may have been using in your operations. So what were those software, and what were your experience using other software systems? In other words, how advanced do you think you were at the time? Because some clients, when they come on board, they're only using the spreadsheet, some using paper only. So what was your experience before?
Yeah, it's kind of the same story that you've heard. I mean, it was spreadsheets to paper copies to how much could we pull out of QuickBooks, which really wasn't a lot, but how much could we lean on that system from an accounting system, and then trying to bring it back into our operations. And really our Vapor Point's journey was we really couldn't find a canned system out there for us. So we ended up pretty much trying to develop with third parties, just starting from scratch on building a database system. And we fell into that trap of we want this and this and this, and then we spent all of this time really starting from scratch trying to develop something that would give us all the stuff that we needed, versus kind of focusing on a couple of small things and could we have done something. So we actually went from a third party trying to develop something to really not getting anything out of that, and then bringing in some resources internal and trying to do something. And we still do operate like from a sales tracking system. We actually did develop something internally we're working off of now, but never really got to the point where we actually truly had an operating system, from an operations tracking per se system.
Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. So as I've just alluded in the beginning, so you've been using RigER. We started the project about a year ago. So what your experience has been so far?
Our experience has been great. One thing that when we met with the RigER folks a year ago was, here's our want list, right? We're not sure we can get everything, but here's our want list, and here's where we're going with a lot of this. RigER was small enough, yet flexible enough to really kind of give us the core pieces that we were looking for. I think that even the RigER team will tell that Vapor Point definitely stretched what we were looking for at times, and I think that's been a good experience to date. To get the core pieces in there as far as developing what we're trying to send to the client, and then have some sort of electronic tracking of what we're doing in the field, maintaining maintenance, and maintaining some sort of electronic database of what we've been doing, which is really just kind of something simple. Seems simple, but really was complex from us to be able to actually get something that would work for us across all of our different service lines of different clients across the country.
Yeah, that's it's good. It's been a pleasure actually for us to have you as our client, because it's nothing kind of gives us joy as listening how we can help you to solve the problem. So that's and flexibility is one of the big things that we've always try to advance. So I think it's good to hear that you're doing that specific feature and the sort of differentiator of ours. Yeah. So we live in a real world anyway, so there's always something that we can do better. So what is it that you think from your experience that we as RigER, as a team and as a project, can do better?
Yeah, because we've challenged this for so long, there's always things that you kind of look back and say, well, we could have focused on a little bit better here and seen that. For me, I think the training modules are good, but I think there was one little step as far as, how do I go from the initial implementation to what's the best way to bring on the different pieces of the team? And I know we had some different trainings and pieces, but I think looking back, I would have done things a little bit different on deployment. And I think that is just again, kind of, hindsight looking back as far as how do we get the most traction from the very beginning, which I think we did a pretty good job. But I think there was a few steps in there as far as that transition of deployment, and how do we have done that a little bit different.
Okay, so I think that's a good it's a good insight, and I think it's a nice segue to the next question that I have. So, what would be your advice then, given that you've been through this for a number of months? You already have experience, and you are an experienced person now in implementing a system like this at your own pace. So, what would be your experience to some organization that are about to embark on implementation of a system like RigER?
Yeah, I would say my best advice to another company that's looking at this is don't just put your toe in the water. Dive in, put together a dedicated team within your company that represents the different arms that are going to be a piece of this, whether that be maintenance, whether that be operations, whether that be your accounting piece is going to need to be in here, administration, safety. Have them on that initial team, because from what I learned on previously, we kind of lost that that momentum sometimes when we tried to do something that we would slow down, it wouldn't happen. So I think that one thing that I would definitely give advice on is have a dedicated team, set up target dates for implementation, set up for we're going to get this point at this point, and really to hit those milestones to where you can keep that momentum going. Because once you get it going, you're fighting the change mentality. I don't want to change the way I've done it. You're fighting, I don't like, doing things on a computer. You're fighting, you're going to hit some roadblocks. You're going to hit some challenges, and you need to make sure you have that implementation team. And also, I would say that we're a good example of driving this from the top. Me in my position, I'm the cheerleader for RigER within our company. And I think that's important to be able to, again, keep that ball rolling and getting buy-in from everybody and have a successful implementation.
Great. So one of the C's in your position stands probably for the cheerleader, because you're COO, so cheerleader operating officer.
Yeah.
One, just to kind of to extend on your experience. So how did you find it? What kind of an insight you might gonna give as far as the change management, and it's just more again your advice? So how have you managed the change, and what do you think the biggest what is one or a couple of things that you can share, or an insight that you share with others? How do you manage change successfully so that it wouldn't get bogged down? It would go ahead and actually happen.
Yeah. I think the key piece to that is to show what advantages how does it benefit each employee and what they're doing? How does it help accounting? How does it help the salespeople to put together a proposal? How does it help the field technician to do that daily paperwork that he has to do? But it's to find that benefit and show them that up front. If we get what we want to get, here's where the benefit's going to be for you. Here's where it's going to take a couple of tasks off your plate. Here's where, you've done this before, so it's very simple to do it again. Versus starting from scratch on a piece of paper. Here's the feedback that you're going to get as far as reporting. Those, to me, that is really, it's kind of put the cart before the horse sometimes, to say here's where we're going to get, so help me get there. So I think that's the key factor, is showing that benefit up front.
Yeah, I guess just to sum it up, it's just more of outlining a tangible vision that people can relate to, I guess, right? So then just kind of keep selling it to them day in and day out and showing the results of it, just incrementally at least, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. Thank you guys. It was very informative. I just marked a couple things for myself. And thank you, Sean. Thank you, Nikolai. And let's move forward. We have another guest who will tell us about their experience. Vanita from Original Services. She will talk about the.
Okay, would like to introduce to you another client of RigER, another dear client of RigER, whom we would like to ask a few questions. So today on the line with us, Vanita Eiling, controller at the Original Services Incorporated. So welcome, Vanita.
Thank you.
So I will ask you a few questions, and I'm sure that it will resonate with some of the users that are online with us today. They will be happy to hear some of these answers that you're gonna do today. So let me start first with a quick question. Tell us about your company and what you do as a company and what is your role at OSI.
My company is a very young company. It's just been around about 10 years. And we specialize in oilfield equipment rent and services, anything from a full campsite to servicing those campsites. I am the controller also over the accounting department and the office at this time, and the primary biller and user of RigER.
Perfect. Thank you. That's an important role in the organization, to be a biller and a user of our system, because I think this is one of the key functions in addition to the people that are running the business itself. So my next question to you, Vanita. So what were the main challenges that you were facing before you kind of started exploring a solution like RigER, and how did you come about, and what made you to make the decision to kind of test out the waters and actually select RigER for the system?
Well, our main goal when we started looking was to, of course, go more electronic with the way of the world, and we wanted to be able to have the guys submit their information via phone, be able to pull it in, and tracking equipment was important, faster turnaround and invoicing and billing was important. The software we were previously using didn't offer us those options, and we really wanted to have financial and operational information at our fingertips each day instead of weekly or a month later. So that was our main reason for switching. Perfect.
And a quick question. Did you have any other experience implementing systems before you made a decision to move to the RigER?
Yes, this is our second implementation. We did one back in 2014. So we kind of felt like we were ready to do it. There's a lot of prep work and stuff you don't realize the first time around. We really learned some lessons the second time around.
Good. So it's good in a sense that you're not really running on a spreadsheets, right? So you're already using a more organized approach to manage your rental. So that's a good one. So because some of the clients of ours are in different stages of being ready. Mm-hmm. And so we're in a more advanced stage because they already were using a system at the time. Perfect.
Correct.
Okay, so the next one. So, and I've just kind of alluded to that at the very beginning. So for how long have you been using RigER, and what your experience has been so far?
Well, we've been using RigER almost 1 year to date now. We're fixing to renew. And on the accounting side, I have truly loved it. I think it flows well. There's great reporting. Our last software, we had to do reporting by SQL files and stuff like that. It was just ridiculous. So it's really worked well for me on my side. I can track my equipment. My invoicing is easy. The operations side has probably struggled a little bit more, just getting the guys used to doing it and things like that. But overall, they're getting it under control as well and getting it going more smoothly for them too.
Perfect. Yes, and as we've discussed, so we're bringing the operations guys into the fold, so to speak, and now deploying the mobile solution for them as a mobile app. So we do have very good, promising first results of them being using it. So it's good. We're looking forward to continue to helping them. So that's a great thing. Thank you. So another question that I have for you, it's a little different, but I think it just kind of, the way we like to position is that we're a pretty open-minded organization, and we always seek for the feedback. And and we take any feedback, and we are really looking at it and try to dissect and make sure that we learn from how we've done the thing. So now that it's been a year since we've been working together, I know that you do have thoughts, ideas, and suggestions as well. So would you mind to share some of them? So how can we do better? What can we do better to help you and companies like yours to start using the system, or maybe with some other aspects of the implementation process? So how can we improve?
Well, that was a tough question for me, because one of the things I truly love about your team at RigER is that you do listen to our needs. You can't always go with what we would like for it to do, but you always work out a solution for us to fix. And that is important in a support team. You're always trying to improve and better your product and work with us. So all I could say there was just keep doing what you're doing.
Well, thank you very much. We'll definitely continue to do what we're doing, and we'll still try to bring and surprise you in a good way with some other enhancements that you may not have expected. So
yes, I have no doubt that you will. I really and truly mean that when you guys listen, you do, and I appreciate that very much. Perfect.
Thank you very much, Vanita. So on the closing note, I wanted to ask you, again, it's something that is more of an advice, because you're organization. However, you're young, but still are very, forward-looking, and having tried systems from the early on when you started working in the Oilfield Rentals and Services. So, given your experience, what would be your advice to somebody or some company? And it can be an accountant or it can be an operations manager, but you're more related to the accounting personnel. So, what would be your advice to them before and when they're thinking? So, what should they keep in mind when they embark on an implementation of a system like RigER, and what would be your advice to them as well?
Well, implementation of new software is difficult no matter how much you plan for it. I personally feel like we were worrying more about getting it started than really learning and focusing on how your product truly learns and flows inside the system. I would say you need to use the software as it is intended to be used. It works perfectly if you do it that way. Dispatching in advance, use your scheduling tools, but also be open-minded and patient. All companies are different. And so this software, it will work for you, but you may have to adjust some of your procedures to get it to flow, and that can be frustrating. So just stay open-minded, stay patient, and learn it. Use the knowledge base and the tools that you're given.
And use the support, right?
Yes, absolutely. The support is wonderful.
Thank you so much, Vanita. It was fantastic. And I remember the last comment from Zach was special thanks to Indra, and please hug her. So and again, our support is, I always tell that it's enormous, and it's a very, very great support from RigER. Thank you so much, and we are moving forward and talking about with our clients, and I'd like to share one more experienced guest and his experience with a multi-year usage of RigER with our great friend Blair. So just let's move forward with that.
Blair, welcome to our annual user conference, and we're pleased to see you again. It's not the first time, so it's our pleasure to host you. And to those of our guests who have not met or heard from you before, can you just give a couple of words, or sentences rather, about your company, what you do at the company, and how things are going?
Yeah. Well, I work for Kennergy Oilfield Solutions. We're a small company based out of South Texas. We work primarily in the Eagle Ford Shale area. We do flowback, well testing, pump down, and rig up work for a couple operators down in South Texas. But we travel all over in the surrounding areas and states. Been in business for going on 8 years now. I'm the a project manager. I've had many hats over the years. It might have changed today. I don't know what day of the week it is. So that's the the nice thing about a small company. You can do lots of things, and so they keep us busy.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you. I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and I will appreciate your insight on some of this, especially to the people and our attendees today who have not been using RigER before, and as well as some of your insights might be helpful to our current clients as well, like yourself. So the next question I wanted to ask you is, you've been using RigER for 4 years, or a better part of 4 years now, so it's been a while. It's good. We appreciate your business. That's an important one for us indeed. Because we've grown as a product with you as a client of ours. So could you then tell us, what do you think RigER, what kind of a role has it played for you in the 4 years, given that there's been high time in the market and there's been low time in the market? So how has it been helpful to you at all?
It's been tremendously helpful in both markets. We went from using RigER primarily for our rental. We were looking for a program that would help us manage our rental department, managing the inbound and outbound of the equipment, and then invoicing them and tracking where they're at and all of that. And then it turned, with RigER's help, it turned into a full company-wide program that we've been able to utilize in all of our departments.
Going back to the high markets and low markets. So if the changes are happening in the market, how's that been? How's RigER been? What kind of a role do you see in this situation?
Right. So with the change in markets, what it's been helped us out is with the fluctuation in personnel, bringing on new employees. When things are good, as well as when things are not so good, and we're having to reduce personnel, it's just been a rock for us that it's all that data is there. We don't have to worry about trying to go back and find information that somebody's leaving with, or to be able to train someone. It's so much easier to just bring them on board with the programs and the learning webinars and the YouTube channel, things like that, to be able to teach. I don't know how many times I've had somebody ask me a question how to do something, and I'll just go straight to the website or to the YouTube channels and just send them a link, say, here, this is how you do it. So that's been extremely helpful multiple times in regards to that. But like I said, even in the downturn, we're able to utilize RigER in multiple, in different ways than we expected, because we have had to diversify some with our with what we do. When we're slow in certain departments, we find other industries or other areas of work, and RigER's been helpful just to keep everything on track.
Okay.
I remember the time that the KNG was 150 employees, or maybe even bigger. How many you have right now?
I think we're right around 40 employees right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just going up and down, and RigER helps with that.
And before that, we're using spreadsheets. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, we. I kind of prided myself on my spreadsheet, and I was very reluctant to get rid of it because I worked so hard to build this massive database. Well, just this massive spreadsheet that I would go down. I live up in Dallas and work remotely, and so that was another reason why I was looking into a program like RigER. But I would go down to our yard in Nixon and sit with Umberto, excuse me, once or twice a month to go over that spreadsheet and to make sure everything was right. And he'd have to sit there and look at his notes and see where this piece of equipment went to where and when it left. And then we would take all that information. Then I would take the spreadsheet and go back and create invoices, with our corporate department and get all that done. And it was just, I know we missed a lot of things. I mean, it had to have. But if something were to happen to me or him, then the company would have been lost, or a lot of revenue would have been lost for sure, just because of our dependency on he and I, and it really made it hard for us to grow with the spreadsheet, because it was just he and I and trying to make it run in that side.
So
yeah, I remember that Kenergy was our kind of internal engine, because you guys ask us lots of new things which we added down the road to our system. So the first turn, like 4 years ago, you asked us to turn to the oilfield service side, and was a big shift for us. I remember that you was the first client who asked us to move to the Mac. So we did that as well, and a mobile app as well was your demand, and right now we have it. So just like, I'd like to again thank you for all your impact, insights, and all your ideas. So we greatly appreciate your help.
Thank you.
No, I know that we've had a great experience, and I think we really appreciate having that relationship, the partner-like relationship between Kenergy and us. But still, we're talking about the eternal improvement. So is there anything that we can still do better?
I think of things that could be done better, and sometimes I bounce them off you guys, and whether I do or not, it seems like those changes are made. There's with some ideas that we talked about in the past, and I've seen in this latest update that all those things are there. There's been a few ideas of, just that we talked about earlier about getting information to us on updates, figuring out a way to get that information to the end user a little better, because I know we get lots of emails, and I don't get to check them all at all the time. I know from y'all's end, y'all don't, y'all are sending it out, so y'all created that information, so it seems like it's getting out to the end user. But just getting to know what new changes are being made would be helpful, or have been made, to be able to utilize the program even better. Because like I said, I've gone through and I'll just be working along and flip through a different module and see something new. And I try to do that regularly, but sometimes I don't catch them all. And I get excited about seeing something that we've talked about in the past, and then it's there. So, yeah.
Yeah, this is a very good point, because what we see that clients usually do not have enough time to check all our updates because they have different priorities. But to have that kind of notification would be a great, and I already mark it, and the next version we will add this the latest update notification to the homepage, so each user can review and see what is available at this new version or this new update. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah, and one other thing that we've been looking at and actually added and expanding on is the Academy. So the online learning tool is there for people to start using more and more. So we're going to be adding more and more courses, and we already are adding more courses. So we hope that this is also a helpful addition to how people can learn about different new features, as well as how to use the main core modules of RigER as well. But thank you for the input, indeed. So again, you're an experienced user, you're an experienced system implementer, generally speaking, since you've had different lifelong experiences using different systems all along. What would be your advice, Blair, to some of the new to our community people and companies who are thinking about embarking on implementing a system? So what would make it a success for them, and what would your advice be to them?
I would say, it's like, I can't remember if we talked about this or not, but the full company-wide buy-in to the program. As long as everyone's on board with it, then I think it'll help make it go a lot smoother.
It is, yes, we hear that as well. So I mean, getting the buy-in from the senior leadership, make sure that the information gets communicated to everyone at the operational level is very important. we do understand. I think another thing that we've heard from some of the other users is the commitment of the people on and being open, I guess, to a change. That's a hard one. I guess it's more falls on the management. And there's also, I think you've shared with us a story about the spreadsheet. So you've used it for even when you started using RigER, right? So it's just hard to part ways.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Once we finally made the change, we were able to really take off with it. It was kind of a crutch, like I said, the spreadsheets were. But once we discarded those and went full board with RigER, it opened up a lot of new opportunities for us.
So everybody who's listening, so make sure that you guys are, you're communicating about the upcoming change. You get a buy-in from the management. If you need any help from us to kind of provide you with additional information, how to get a buy-in from management, how to explain the benefit of the system, we're always here to help you. We can always bring a referral to a client of ours, and you can talk to the real people, the real users of the system, and ask them a few questions about how it went and what to be aware of when they're starting to embark on the implementation. So there's different ways we can help you. So keep it in mind and always reach out to us.
Yeah, please.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Blair. It's been a very pleasant conversation. I know that we haven't been able to travel to visit you in person, but I know that borders are opening up, so we'll be seeing you in a few months.
Yeah, as soon as possible.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Yep.
Okay, was great insights, and I hope that everyone enjoyed those interviews. We will do those user interviews regularly, and we will do those user conference on a regular basis. So, but what we will do in 2021 and how we see the future development of our product. Definitely, the digital oilfield vision, we continue developing a tool which help our clients to move forward to operate in a more efficient way. And we see the following list of improvements, which we will add to our next year to our product. So one of the key point, it's a mobile oil field. It's the way how we see the development of the trend right now, talking about 5G and developing of the infrastructure. Definitely mobile oil field will be a very, very important thing. Another trend which we right now see from our clients, because most of them are not only rental but manufacturing units. So the manufacturing module will be as a next step for our product development. Data visualization, we will continue to work with the Power BI and other BI software to help our clients make a better decision based on the data which we have in RigER. RFID technology and telemetry and the big data is another huge and big advancement and addition to what we see. And building the entire ecosystem and platform they integrate with different software is another big trend for now. And very important thing which we see is a cybersecurity and understanding that your data is under the right procedures and policies. So, and developing that, we step into the ISO certification. We started this project a year ago, and right now we certified on this. We under audit actually today, and I hope that in the next couple of months we will have both certification for ISO 9000 and ISO 27. Okay, so the reason why we did that, first of all, we'd like to develop our company and we'd like to develop and analyze our processes and establish our process in the right way. And that is why we talk about quality management system and constant improvements and processes optimizations and understanding how we will manage our company in a better way. From another perspective, the ISO 27000, the information technology security, we trying to move forward to and protect the data which we have as our own data and data which our clients give to us. So the risk assessment, as asset management and control, access control, the information security, incident management, business continuity management, the compliance, all those are our priority right now, and we do lots of changes internally, and some of the changes will appear in the next release of RigER as well. And I'd like to introduce the new release, which scheduled for December 10th, 2020, and we'd like to name it behind the next release 8.0 as 8.0 Odessa. So it will include updating security policies. We will add an email client. We will continue developing CRM. It will be a CRM version 2, manufacturing module, barcode module in mobile, white label ERP mobile client, homepage improvements, and others. So it's a big addition to what we do, and please follow us in the next couple months. There will be lots of details about this new release.
You do know that if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us through the website, through the phone, knock on door. We have an office. You can also walk in some cases. So we are here to help you, and we're more than happy to hear from you. So next week, we are going to be presenting how RigER database administrators can be set up and start using the system on the client's end. So basically, it's geared towards the super user level users at your organizations if you are using RigER right now. So we'll go over some of the key features of the system for the admin users, and you can take away that and start using it in your daily operation right there, and it'll be stored also, so you can use that webinar then for your referral if you need to. So it's going to be an interesting topic. We haven't done that before, I think, but it's a high time right now to feature that to our user community.
Yeah, especially with those new additions to the new version. So the administrator role will be growing in RigER.
Right on. So on that note, I wanted to thank you very much for staying in with us for almost an hour now. That's been a long one, but I hope we enjoyed it, and I hope you enjoyed it as well.
Absolutely.
So let's be in touch and have a great rest of the day, the weekend, and we'll be in touch with you next week then.
Yeah, talk to you soon next week, and yeah, have a fantastic week, and thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you, guys.